Hi family, welcome in. I hope y'all are doing amazing today. If you're new to my channel, I'm Lindsay. We talk about self and spiritual development over here as well as manifestation. And if you are interested in upgrading your life financially, you'll find those entrepreneurship resources linked in the description box below, as well as my about section. But with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. Today's video is going to be another one that is near and dear to my heart because it is a cycle that I battled my whole entire life and that I have permanently broken free from, and equally as important, I have healed from. And I think it's so important when it comes to these patterns that when you have broken them and healed from them, to talk about them and grab the hand of the next, right? So that's what we're going to do. So again, this video is going to be all about the narcissist empath loop. And I'm guessing that you are the empath here if you are watching this, if you were drawn to this video. And by the way, if that is kind of a newer word for you, I really encourage you to do some research, or I can even make a video just about being an empath as well if you want to let me know about that in the comment section. But that awareness of self and really identifying with that is so important because it's that awareness that lets you know what is going on, lets you know who you are, and ultimately that awareness is what helps you break the cycle. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So if you're an empath, it is so important to understand that there is a reason why narcissists are drawn to you. And it's not just because of your light, even though there is a lot of information out there about this, a lot of conversation around this. And yes, it is true. They are drawn to your light. But even more important than that, that is so critical to recognize, is that they're attracted to your wound. And it's this awareness about that wound, that radical honesty with self about that wound, again, that is ultimately going to be one of the most necessary steps that you have to take in order to break the pattern. And so that's what we're going to do today. We are going to break this cycle for good. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So again, you're the empath, so you give everything, you explain, you forgive, you stay, and it's all in an effort for that person, the narcissist, to finally see your worth. But what if I told you that that is the trap? The thing about the narcissist empath loop is it's a trauma bond. And it feels like love. Believe me, I get it. I have been there more times than I even care to count or admit. But what it actually is emotional survival. So let's talk about a few of the reasons why it keeps happening, because again, this awareness is really important too. And I really believe that awareness of this cycle is so you can't really do without it. And in some cases, actually, I have seen people break this cycle just based on the awareness alone, because it stems from a childhood pattern is the thing too. And I'll go back to that, but that's why we keep repeating it, and why it lacks that awareness, and why that awareness is so important. So one of the reasons that it keeps happening is because you were conditioned to overfunction in order to receive love. Another reason that it keeps happening is because the narcissist subconsciously, or even more scary than that, consciously recognizes your need to fix, to rescue, and to prove your worth. The last reason that I want to mention as to why this cycle keeps happening is a really important one and goes back to what I was saying just a minute ago about childhood, which is that the pain feels familiar. And this is because it mirrors a childhood pattern that we have yet to break. And so now I want to get into some reasons as to why we get stuck in this cycle as well. And again, this just goes back to the awareness thing. So one is that you confuse intimacy with intensity, right? And to the point where you might even find very healthy, functional people to be boring. And this is really something to look out for and a sign that will let you know that this pattern still needs breaking. It's that confusion of intimacy and intensity. Another one is that we try to heal our inner child through someone else. This is just completely impossible. It never works this way. It will keep you stuck. You are the only one that can heal your inner child, and your inner child needs you to. And believe me when I say, when you do, it just is truly a life-changing thing, and a life-changing thing that sticks. Another reason is that you believe that love equals self-sacrifice. This has unfortunately been used against you, and this is just an absolute lie that gets embedded in us through this particular trauma bond and program. But it is a lie. Love and self-sacrifice do not go hand in hand. They don't belong together in any way, shape, or form. And again, it is a belief that stems from that pattern, and one that is simply not true. Another one is that you haven't quite learned how to self-source your own worth. And again, this takes healing. This is a part of the lie and the belief system that is simply not true, that has been embedded through this particular trauma bond. And the last reason that I want to mention is that you fear being too much or too needy. This has likely been told to you repeatedly from narcissists, starting from your childhood, and again, is not true. You know, you may struggle with some attachment issues and things like that, but all of that can be healed. You are not too much, you are not too needy, and you have all of the love inside of you that you could ever need, you know. And I'm sorry that you ever were even told that. It's a lie, and the moment you start believing the fact that it's a lie, you will start to heal, and you will also start to self-source your own worth. You will start to heal that attachment style, and really detachment and self-love will start to occur naturally and organically for you. It did for me. It is possible. Believe me, if I can overcome all of those lies, so can you, so can anyone. All right, now let's talk about how to stop this cycle for good and heal. And I want to start by saying, and please hear me when I say this, you don't need them to choose you. You need to choose you. So one of the steps that you need to take is you need to learn nervous system regulation. Nervous system regulation is literally everything when it comes to dissolving this program, breaking this pattern, and healing it. You need safety, not stimulation. And so you can do things like EFT tapping, you can do things like meditation. That was a big one for me. Things that stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, and just things that will change your core beliefs about this. And so if you need a little bit of help with that, I've made plenty of videos about those things. I talk about nervous system regulation a lot. I think that it is tied to so many different things, including even the abundance and the amount of people that we can hold in our energy. So another one is that you have to Build self-trust through micro boundaries. And I say micro boundaries because when you are in the empath narcissist loop, and this is so sad, actually. It's like really heartbreaking if you think about it, but boundaries are very overwhelming. So you really have to start small and take every opportunity to lean in and create a boundary where you need to, even if it's voicing your opinion in small ways, saying, no, I want that color, not that color. I want that flavor, not that flavor. Just start small, which leads me to my next point, which is that you have to say no when it's hard, and especially when you feel guilty. There is only one way to heal this and break this pattern, and that is by leaning in and saying no when it's hard. And you basically have to think of it like building a skill, and practicing just as you would if you were building any other skill, like if you were taking piano lessons or anything like that, you have to practice, right? It's the same thing when it comes to this. And finally, I want to mention that you have to reprogram your core belief from what it is that you think that you have to earn love to I don't have to earn love. I don't need to earn love. This is something that I would have to say to myself on a daily basis. I would record myself and put it into my headphones. There's lots of ways that you can do it, but the point is that you have to oversaturate with these words every single day in order to dissolve the old program of thinking that you need to earn love when you don't. And what needs to be reprogrammed is that you are whole, that you don't need to earn love, and that you don't need to prove your worth to anyone. And I want you to think of this as even more than just emotional freedom, right? It's essentially a spiritual rebirth. And there's one last step that I really want to mention, and it's probably the most obvious, which is that when it comes to a narcissist, you have to go completely and totally silent. It has to be a completely clean break. Anything less will keep you in that cycle. And if you have been there, done that, then you probably already know this. Literally, silence is the only way, and a complete break is the only way when it comes to a narcissist. I just want to say that again because that is so important, that anything in the middle, any kind of gray area, any communication of any kind or connection of any kind will keep you in this pattern. So I did create a free downloadable checklist. It's the Empath Empowerment Checklist. I'm going to link that in the description box below. You'll just copy and paste it into your search bar, whatever browser you're using, and then it'll allow you to download it, and you can print it off if you like, or, find a way to do it on your computer, whatever you prefer. And if this really resonated with you, then go ahead and comment down below as part of your empowerment loop breaker. And so I really hope that this resonated. Of course, I hope this was so helpful. This meant a lot to me. Again, your freedom is just on the other side, okay? Don't give up, and you are not meant to live in this miserable cycle, okay? So I love you so much. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.